welcome to Montana
Haven, Alaska edition.
We haven't done a sit down since we left Montana.
It's been a long time for sure, yeah.
I mean, I don't remember for sure, but
yeah, I don't think we have since we left Montana. Yep.
Yeah.
So you guys came through in a big way, and we hope that we can answer you guys' questions. Now let me just give you a couple numbers because I'm a numbers guy. I like numbers, right? So there's 67,912 of you that have said that you're going to subscribe to our channel, which is awesome, and we're just excited. We'll keep growing. It's slow, but it's still steady growth, and we'd like to see a lot more, but we'll see. Hopefully our channel will keep growing. On this short video that we asked for you guys to post questions, we had 9,600 of you looked at it. There was 876 of you that liked it, and 151 asked questions. So that basically tells me that 67,800 people failed to ask a question that they could have asked us. Praise God they didn't, because we might be here all night. But to those of you that ask questions, there's a lot of questions, 151. We'll try to go through them. We bolt them together in a few that a lot of you asked a few of the same questions, so we tried to consolidate those. So
yeah.
So why don't we jump in, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is like maybe the third most asked question that people ask, or how are my feet? So my feet are every day, they're getting better. And to those of you that don't know us, first of all, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Joas.
I'm Priscilla.
And we have
5 children.
And we live here in Alaska, in a log cabin that we built. And a lot of you know this, but if you're new, I just want to say we've had a lot of new subscribers, so welcome to our channel. We're so grateful. We truly are grateful for each and every one of you. So our hearts are that you would just be blessed by watching our family and feel the peace of God over it.
Yeah.
So how are my feet? I had an accident October 2nd, and this is now 3 months ago, and they're getting better. Every day they're slightly getting better. Yesterday I helped an old sourdough friend of mine from Alaska. Sourdough basically means he's been here a long time, and I helped him make sausage, some for him and some for us. And I was on my feet for quite a few hours, and my feet really felt it. Today I'm just literally keeping them up all day.
Except for now.
Yep, right, right. So they're just getting better. I'm almost to the point where I can walk barefoot on our floor, and I can totally walk in my hospital boots, support boots, and it's just getting better. So
it's just like he can't be on him for hours.
Right.
He has to still take care, but we're so blessed how
That's
fast
right.
he's recovering.
I did have one physical therapy treatment, and he just helped me with a lot of stretches and exercises that I can do. So my bones are healed. It's just now a matter of getting my foot back into motion. They're really tight. So, yep, that's it. Okay, what's the next question?
Best decision we've ever made and one regret. I don't even know for sure what the best decision.
We've made a lot of good decisions.
Yeah. I feel moving up here was one good one. It was a hard one in a way. It was hard. And that's why you don't see many people do something like this, but it's rewarding, and we've been having such a good time. Hey, and if you hear kiddos, they're downstairs working and playing.
I think one other decision that we made, one of the best decisions we ever made, was having children.
Yeah.
I think children are a blessing. And this is a decision as a couple that we made. One we regret. What is the decision we regret? Is there one?
I can't really think of one, except maybe when we started out, when we were first married, we built this huge home, and we didn't have the money for it. And so it took us many years to pay off debt. And so I would do that over.
Right.
We would go much smaller.
Right.
When we first,
Right. And we have the home now, but it took us, 15 years to get anywhere. I mean, we only lived in the basement for like 11 years, and then we slowly finished the upstairs. So that's one thing we definitely do over. Okay, I'm going to ask you the next. This was the number one question people asked us. The purpose for moving to Alaska is because a lot of you are new subscribers, and you don't know what are we doing in Alaska? Why did we leave our Montana Haven home? And what are we doing in Alaska? And the second part is, do we plan on going back to Montana? Drum roll. We don't know.
Yeah. I would say the main reason we wanted to come here was for a sabbatical.
Right.
Because, you know, we were in a lot of stuff. In different stuff with ministry, with our church back home. And he was, of course, in the log home business. So he was tied up. And we didn't even know if we could get away.
Right. Yeah, there was some impossibilities. There was like 4 impossibilities that I told God that if he moves those, then we know it's he's pointing us to come here, because there was really 4 what I felt were impossibilities.
Yeah.
And one of them, that was our family business. I mean, I lived and breathed and was married to our family business almost, because I did that my whole life. I poured everything into it. And by the way, some of you asked about our family business, which is Meadowlark Log Homes. That's the business my dad started way back in 1980. And my brothers built a log cabin in 1979. And then I basically grew up my whole life in it. So as of December 31st, 2023, Priscilla and I are no longer owners, actually. We've actually, us 3 brothers that owned it, we've transferred it over to my nephew, one of my brother's sons. And so he's actually running it. It's a crazy feeling. It's weird. Hardly know how to do that. But anyways, that's where that log home business is. So
yeah.
And if you want to watch like more, why did we move to Alaska? Really, like a full episode, go back in the spring of 2022.
We can link the video below.
We can do that. Okay, I'll try to remember to do that.
Yeah.
It's called Our Big Announcement, and that explained why we chose to move to Alaska.
And of course, we chose the state of Alaska because that's what we dreamed, or that was a place we really would have liked to go, especially him. So he came out hunting here in 2019, and he loved it. And so this is why we chose Alaska.
I basically had such a good time up here. I was like, what if I could do this with my family? And so then we started dreaming about it, and now we're here. Yeah. And do we plan on going back to Montana? That's actually something. I'll just share a quick little dream I had. I was really praying about it as I spent, you can imagine, I spent 3 months on my back and on the chair. And I had a lot of time to think my life through and to see what do I need to do for my family. And I don't know that I have all the answers, but I was really asking the Lord, because we're Christians and we believe God, His Holy Spirit, speaks to us. And so He just says ask. And so I was really asking and praying about it. And one night I had a dream. And I believe God spoke to me through the dream, in the dream, and I might get emotional when I speak about it because it impacted my life so much. In the dream, I was kneeling by a fireplace, kind of like this one, and I was just doing something at the fireplace there, and someone opened the door. I knew it was an old man. I don't know why, I just knew it was an old man, and he just stood there, and he looked at me, and I never really saw his face or anything. He just looked at me as I was working there, and he said that God hears you and that you're right where you're supposed to be. And I just remember I broke down and I was just weeping in my dream, and I woke up and I was weeping because I felt God answered me, that we're where we're supposed to be, and I just can completely trust Him that maybe next month He'll tell us something different where we're supposed to be elsewhere, but right now I can just rest, because I was really asking the Lord, what are we doing here? Did I make a mistake to bring my family up? Here's my accident. I can't do anything. I'm away from my greater family. So it was just really confirmation. It settled in my heart that God will take care of us. And I want to pass that on to you, that God will take care of you. Just seek Him and He will answer you. Okay, let's go on through we got through like 2 questions now.
Did we answer about going back?
Okay, well, I think so. But I guess what I was saying with that dream is we don't know if we're going back. We're open to going back to Montana if God would want us to go back. And He might, we don't know, but right now we're where we're supposed to be, and we just want to hear what God wants us to do.
We plan on going back for maybe a month at a time or something like that, even this coming spring. Right. But as far as permanently, we don't know. Right.
So we'll just see whatever God has for us. We just want to say yes. That's where our heart is. Whatever God wants us to do, it's a yes. And it doesn't matter if it's here, it's Montana, it's a yes. So we're just continually leaning in to try to hear what that is. Yep. So that's it there. Okay, let's go through some questions. I'll ask you one, babe, and then you can answer. How does homeschool look for us? A day in the life.
Well, it can look different every day.
That's right.
But we usually get the children up around 7:30, and usually by 8:30 they're doing school. And sometimes it's me teaching, sometimes it's Joas, sometimes it's the twins, Justin and Ethan. But right now they're doing construction, so it's been Joas and I kind of taking turns teaching them. And then Avalon, she's in 7th grade, and she sometimes checks the books for me afterwards. And so yeah, we just kind of do it as a family.
Right. Works pretty good, I think. It works pretty great. Okay. I'm going to ask you this, babe, because someone else, this is kind of your thing. I know you started buying from Lemongrass Spa because you wanted cleaner products. How do you know what products are unsafe? Do you have a source you trust that gives you that info? I've been reading that clean beauty movement is a scam, so I don't know what to believe. What do you think about Lemongrass Spa products? Are they clean or not?
Yes, I definitely believe in Lemongrass Spa products. Now, as far as doing a lot of research on other companies, clean companies, I haven't done that. So I couldn't answer that for you, but I really believe in the owners of this company. They're a Christian-based company, and I believe they're very honest in their dealings and how they make the products. They don't say that every product is organic unless it absolutely is. Like they have an organic mascara, and I think a couple other things, but for the most part they just say that they are natural. They're like 100% natural, or it actually is written on it. And yeah, as far as I know, I personally really believe in this company.
Awesome. I remember the artwork the boys did on the table in Montana, so my question is, do they still do artwork like that? And I know they work, I know they're busy all the time, but it was just so beautiful. So do they do artwork still? The
boys, they don't nearly do as much artwork now.
No, they've been too busy. But they're artsy. Yeah. I think Priscilla and I both have a knack towards art. Priscilla's actually, believe it or not, is a fantastic artist. And she hasn't done really any for years, but she did some really amazing, and she thinks it's funny, but it's not. She did like some really, really nice drawings. And she actually wanted to do a color book for a long time. And maybe she still will sometime, drew all the pictures. Her mom's artistic. And
yeah, my mom's a painter.
Yep. So anyways, they're not really doing artwork right now.
Someone says, are you planning on having any more kids?
Well, that's a great question. So we love kids, and I miss babies. I just really love babies a lot. I'm a softie when it comes to babies. But no, we're not going to. There was, Priscilla had some health challenges, and her grandmother passed away from some things that kind of she may have struggled with a little bit. So we just didn't feel it was safe for her health. And we've talked about adoption. We've both had it on our hearts for a long time, adoption, but we don't really know. It just hasn't really gone further. So I'm not sure where we're at with that, if that's something we might still do or not. I guess God knows about that, but yeah, that's where we're at with that. So how are the children liking Alaska versus Montana? How do you find the price differences on groceries and thrift stores? Do any of you suffer homesicknesses? How is business doing in Alaska? So there's a bunch of questions there, I guess. How are the children liking Alaska?
The children actually really like it. It's the wintertime and the summertime. There's just lots of hiking, and they do miss home, definitely. The little ones say more about it than even the older ones. So that's one reason we want to sometimes take trips back to Montana if possible. And as far as the groceries and thrift, it is a little bit more, definitely. We've seen, that we spend quite a bit more on groceries than we did back home. Right. We try to go do a Costco run if we can, but it doesn't always happen because we got to drive an hour one way to get to Costco, so that also costs money. So, I love both your blogs. Look forward to your videos. My question is, do your kids have any sibling rivalry? As I'm writing this, I'm chuckling because I adore your kids. So, do they have sibling rivalry? Yes, of course they do. We are a normal family, and I think normal families have sibling rivalry. The answer is yes. Yes. Yes, they do. I come from a German dialect that the Amish still speak, and Priscilla came from a Swiss
German dialect. So
yeah, for those of you who don't know, we both grew up Amish. So.
Wissen Sie Deutsche Sauerkraut, or as German as sauerkraut. So that's what I just said. There's a lot of you are going to understand that, but yeah. So a lot of people know it as Pennsylvania Dutch. That's kind of a made-up term. It's actually Deutsch from German. But the point is that we speak the Swiss German to our children, but they do have a bit of a mixture between the German and the Swiss German.
They do.
So
they have almost their own language.
They do a little bit.
So we got to go through these a little faster.
They do. What homeschool curriculum do you use?
So I use quite a few. Abeka School Aid, which I think is an Amish-made curriculum.
We may have to do a video on that sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to include that stuff in the video sometime, because I know a few of you have asked, and we use a spattering. It's not just one brand.
I should know, but we had our principal order all the books for me, and
in Montana.
Yeah, in Montana.
Yep.
So yeah.
Okay.
Is your son Wyatt missing part of his finger from the accident?
Yes, he is.
Yes,
he had last spring, or this past spring. He was with his friends and they were splitting some wood. We didn't even know it. Anyways, he wasn't paying attention, I guess, and he chopped part of his finger off with a wood splitter. It was not a fun day at all.
Could you compare a few items like milk or butter?
Milk is $4.37 a gallon for whole milk.
Is that what it is in Walmart?
Yep.
Okay. And that's the cheapest kind of milk.
5 dozen eggs, a 60 count of eggs, that is $11.84 or something, which is actually pretty
sometimes it's
reasonable.
higher than that.
Yeah,
it was up to 15 or 16.
it was. It's lower than I've seen in a while.
And that's the cheapest kind of eggs too. I hate using those eggs, but right now we are.
Right. Yep. We would like to know if your boys would hire out to help us build a simple home in Helena, Montana. So other people are saying, yes, please, I'd fly them to Michigan. So, they're not quite there yet where I can send them out and say, go build a house. They're good, but they're still 17 and they're still in the apprentice stage. So, and we're kind of in Alaska to do things as a family. So they're just going to be here with us. They're not going to, until they actually, want to spread their wings and go out. It'd be probably a few more years before they want to do that. So they love Alaska. They can't wait till the summertime, to do that.
Are you guys going to sell the house in Montana and stay in Alaska? No, we're not planning on selling the house.
And by the way, in case you don't know it, it's on VRBO and Airbnb as a vacation rental. It's called Montana Haven. So you guys can just go on there if you ever want to stay in our home in Montana or check it out. And it's also in the description box, a link to that.
And is Joas going back to work building log cabins when his feet are better?
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, not sure about that.
Yep, not sure.
Do you have any bear sightings near your home? What are your concerns of the moose around your home?
So there's no bear right here. They would be here, but I guess there's too much to eat in the backcountry, so they're not here. They're just a few miles from here.
Yeah, we've not seen any.
No, people around here don't see any. Moose, yeah. So there's definitely a lot of moose. So, we grew up in the bush. It's not like I never had any fear of wild animals. Like I just didn't. I do recognize that you have to be safe and you have to be respectful around when they're babies, and you don't want to go up and tickle a grizzly bear, on the tail. So there's things that you guys, use common sense, but no, it doesn't concern us at all. In the South they've got, rattlers and who knows what all. That would concern me a lot more, alligators and rattlesnakes. I'm not worried about bears and mountain lions and moose at all. Okay, babe, what has been the hardest thing to get used to in Alaska? Everyone says the odd daylight hours. Is that true?
Actually, no, not for me. I love the odd daylight hours. And of course in the summertime we have blackout curtains so we just, it's no problem. Although it's a little harder to go to sleep or go to bed if it's light outside. And in the wintertime, I just love the shorter days. I love the cozy long evenings, and so
I think something about the summertime that I actually don't really like is it's daylight so much that I'm tired all the time. Like you're just going all the time. Your body, it's always daylight. So it's, you're fishing at midnight and then, you should be fishing at 3 a.m. because it's just, time to start fishing. So
I think the hardest thing for me to get used to was the rain. We had so much rain, and they said it was a record-breaking year for rain. But in Montana, where we live, we don't get a lot of rain. It was more rain than sunshine, I think. So, yeah.
Several people have asked if we're going to do Airbnb here, vacation rental, when we move back to Montana. Well, we don't know that we're going back, and we may. I'll just be honest with you. I think there's a question further up about our finances, and I think that's maybe a little bit of a personal thing. But I'll just be honest with you. When we left Montana, we were out of debt because we had worked very hard to do that, and we came up here and we're not out of debt at the moment because we bought this property, and we built a home, and we're not really willing to do that long term. Like, I'm not willing to live in that under debt. I just don't like it. So we're asking the Lord and asking advice from people, the best thing that we should do. So we may we're splitting our property. That was another question. We're splitting our property into 3 pieces that we'll have here, and then we may sell this front piece and rebuild again, and maybe again. I don't know. We don't know that. We're kind of just still feeling that out, what we want to do.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to be in debt. It's not healthy long term. So I just don't like giving the bank's money. So that's just, I don't like it at all. So we'll see what happens with that. So we'll probably, I would love to keep it. My heart is like, when I put my heart into something, I would love to keep this home. And maybe we can, but we're just still figuring that out, if we're going to be able to or not.
He's very sentimental. But, I like that of him. He loves to create legacy, and I like that. So. Okay.
My question is, what made you leave Amish life? I'll answer that, then you can answer the next one. So we actually never left the Amish. That's still our culture, and so we just still call ourselves Amish. We don't do every cultural thing that the Amish do, but it's our culture. And so, if you grow up as a Chinese, you're always going to be Chinese. If you grow up beliefs, that's your culture. So our culture is growing up Amish, and that's just who we are. So our hearts never really left. We love our Amish people, and there's, like any culture, there's good and bad things, but that's just where we're at. We're in our hearts. It's not like defining us. It's just, that's our culture, and that's how we grew up, and that's just where we're.
Yeah, we just let go of a lot of things that were just not necessary, just religion and tradition. So. Yeah.
And I'll ask you this: are your kids ever frustrated with you recording videos with them on there? I absolutely love both your channels. You inspired me to create your own, so thank you. The Fairs, THEFEHRS. So I hope you do well on your channel.
Oh wow, yes. They're not really frustrated.
It's just part of what we do.
It's part of what we do.
Normal stuff.
I feel like they could still get a little bit more relaxed.
Right.
And I feel that's partly our problem as parents, helping them to, just be themselves. I think they could work on that yet, but yeah, they're actually, I know that Chloe, the youngest, loves to be in the videos. So, yeah.
I'll ask you this. What part or place in Alaska, babe, are you wanting to visit or explore next?
Are you wanting to visit? Oh, I don't know. We've explored quite a lot. I would really like to go up to the very top to Prudhoe Bay sometime. I would love to go to like Kodiak Island or some different islands. We've got an ocean boat now, so.
Well, I'm going to say we explored quite a bit of the road system, but we explored 99% of Alaska we haven't seen yet, just because it's only accessible by plane or by boat.
Yes.
And we just haven't got there yet. So that part is what I want to see.
Yeah.
But as far as what we've been able to access on the road, there's a lot that we've seen, and it's been amazing. Just fantastic. Okay, what's next for the twins? Are they getting their licenses? Do they have their own plans?
They are in the process of getting their licenses.
Yeah. Actually, they have their learner's permits now.
They have their learner's permit.
Right. So they have to have that for 6 months, and they go to the next thing. So, yeah. How is Priscilla's health since you guys moved to Alaska? Her one video while living in Montana said she had health issues, was trying different remedies, but didn't go into detail, I think, with headaches and other stuff. How is she feeling now in Alaska? How are you feeling?
I am feeling really good right now, or a lot better. I am, after we moved that last winter, I seemed to get worse. It was just a lot of different issues, hormonal, and mold. Yes, from years back, we went through a mold issue, so I got really sick with that, and I was still kind of dealing with that. So
root canals, possibly.
Yeah, and then just the move and everything just took a toll.
It triggered a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right.
So he does all he can to help me, and he looked all around. We found this doctor in Anchorage. She is what would you call her? Like
she's a medical doctor, but she's more holistic minded.
Yeah, she was a medical doctor, but she switched.
I think she still has her license.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And she's in her 70s, but she says she has no reason to retire, and I love her. She's a Christian,
she's amazing.
And she has really helped me with. I took blood tests, and she's helped me with a lot of different things to take.
And some of you are going to ask, what's her name? So I'm trying to remember.
Sandra Denton is her name.
Sandra Denton, yes.
Alaska Alternative Medicine.
There you go.
Yes.
I can't speak highly enough of her. She was really, really great. And Priscilla's still, I think, coming out of the woods a little bit.
Yeah.
But she's doing pretty good. Okay, cookbook. A lot of you in the last video said, yes, I would buy a cookbook. So here's the challenge I'm going to ask you guys. Is there anybody that's watching that has had... Oh.
Daniel Boone.
Miss Daniel Boone. Miss Danielle Boone.
What were you playing down there?
Trapping.
Trapping?
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Okay, where were we? Oh, yes, the book. So, is there anybody out there that has advice for us on publishing, how to publish a cookbook? This is brand new territory for us.
Yeah.
If you know how to do it, or if you have some really good suggestions, please let us know. And also, the best way to get a hold of us, or to really make sure that we see it, is if you guys go to Facebook or Instagram under Montana Haven and send us a message there, and then we'll for sure get it there.
Yeah, it seems like such a huge undertaking for me for some reason, but I would love to. I love cooking and baking, and if I do make a cookbook, I would like to make it nice. Have a really nice cookbook. So yeah, we've really been thinking and praying into that.
Right. So it might happen sooner rather than later, but we'd love to hear your feedback if you've got some valuable feedback for us. What program we should use to develop it and all that stuff. Yep. Okay, if your kids wanted to continue their education past the 8th grade, would they be allowed?
Yes, they would definitely be allowed if they so desired. What do you miss most about your home area in Montana besides family? We live in North Lincoln County, Montana.
Which is close to us in Montana.
Do you plan on making a garden in Alaska similar to your Montana garden?
Well, the answer is right where we're at, it's like too wet to really have a garden like we had in Montana. So we miss our garden a lot.
And it depends if we would sell this place.
Yeah.
And so we're just kind of being low key with that.
Right.
And even animals, I would love to have goats and chickens because we had goat's milk and our own eggs back home, but we just don't do it right now because we just don't know for sure, what the future holds for us.
And I'm going to say that's what we miss most about Montana, our animals and our garden.
Yeah.
Okay, how many hours does Priscilla sleep a night? She always seems to have so much on her plate. I don't know how she does it, and on top of it, she always looks amazing. Her hair is so beautiful.
Well, you don't know how I look off camera sometimes. But that is one issue I did have with my health issues was the sleeplessness.
And you still struggle with it.
Yes, but it is a lot better. It's a lot better. It's just certain times of the month where I do not sleep well. But I'm saying that that's going to be better. That's going to get better. And yes, it's definitely better than it was.
We continue. I think it's our words have a lot to do with it as well. If you say, "Oh, I just can't sleep," then that we speak our own destiny. So, but you also have to actually pay attention to your body, and but we're trying to do multiple, seeing Sandra as well as speaking positive life into it. So I think this is a good one. What are your views on dating for your children? Do you believe in courtship that ends in marriage, or are the children able to date casually? And at what age would you permit dating? Just curious, since the boys are getting older now. Personally, I am of the view in keeping them young and carefree as long as you can. So what do you think, babe?
Um,
What are your views on dating for the children? What were our views that we're passing on to them?
right. We believe in courtship that hopefully ends in marriage. Like not.
That's the end game.
Yes, I would not want to see my children date just to date, but to actually if they start or if somebody asks them out for a date, that they actually have in mind, is this someone that I actually think maybe I would want to spend the rest of my life with.
Right.
And even if they court, they still might not end up marrying. That happens. And I'm so
Right.
thrilled that I ended up marrying the first guy, that ever courted
As did
me.
I.
So, but that some of my siblings, that it didn't end in marriage, and it just happens that way.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
mm-hmm.
So, at what age would you permit dating? So, the boys are not in any hurry to date. Let me tell you what. So, they're not there, and I think I was 23 before I started, and Priscilla was 21.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing there's two of them, and they love the outdoors. It's going to be a while, so I don't think we have anything to worry about age-wise there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just have a feeling it's going to be a while with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you make any Amish food?
Oh, yes. I make quite a bit.
Right. You do.
Yeah.
Best parenting books. Ooh, I don't know about that one.
We used to read a lot of parenting books when we were first early married.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know which ones to recommend, really.
I don't have one.
We've just found out that every child is so different that even the parenting books just won't hit everything.
Mm-hmm.
They won't hit it. So, I mean, there's some really good
Right.
advice in them.
Right.
I would definitely recommend reading some.
Mm-hmm.
I just, I would say this, to ask the Holy Spirit.
Right.
The Holy Spirit will put a thought in your head that never was there before about, disciplining or listening to your child. And so, yeah, just daily ask the Holy Spirit
Right.
for wisdom.
Mm-hmm. And I think our number one parenting rule is this, or goal, rule, whatever you want to call it, is that our number one heart is to establish and keep a relationship with our children.
Yeah.
If we have their heart, we have everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the key.
Yeah.
So it's not, do you spank? How do you discipline so much? It's if you have their heart, and that's sometimes easier said than done. I get that. And sometimes you have to get their heart back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's things happen that, it just happens, and then you have to get their heart back again. But their hearts, our children, their hearts are so soft. A lot of times they blow up, sometimes they have spats, but we've taught them, if it's sibling especially, they're quick to forgive. We've taught them from a very young age, say you're sorry, they go back, hug, say what you're sorry for, and so they're very quick to snap out of it.
Yeah.
They can be in a argument of some sort, and then we remind them that it's maybe not what they should be doing.
Yeah.
And and to say that they each have to say they're sorry, and say why they're sorry. Maybe I'm sorry because I said something bad over you, or whatever it is, and then and then leave it, and pretty soon that's all over.
Yeah, and we as parents actually have to set the stage or set the example.
Right.
Like we have to be willing to actually admit to them when we're wrong.
Right.
And I have to do that a lot. I don't know. You probably think I'm this patient person, but I'm not naturally patient. I get very quickly impatient. He's much more patient than I am, so I have to apologize a lot. But yeah, it's just keeping close to their hearts, and not like if there's an argument or there's something that comes up that you almost can't resolve, just don't quit until it is resolved and there is again the feeling of how would you say, just a connectedness. Yeah, so that our hearts stay connected, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. How do you make your income?
By the way, we don't pretend to know
No.
at all. We're still learning.
I always think that we're still a laboratory, our children, our family is, because I mean, our oldest are only 17. I really don't think that we have the authority to really, we can tell you from our, almost 20 years now of married life. It's crazy. 17 years of having children.
Can't believe that.
That's what we can share with you, but we don't know, like at age 25, at age 30, how that's going to be until we've crossed that threshold.
Yeah.
So we can only give you advice, and anything after that is just opinion. So that's where we're at with that. So how do we make our income? So it's been a challenge, I'll just be frank, moving up here to Alaska. When we were in Montana, we had a lot of options. We had a log home business and different things. Since we've been up here, it's been very sporadic. Obviously we did construction when we could and have been able to do that. So that's, the boys are still working and they help out with that. So we do make a little money from YouTube. That has been really a blessing. So what we make from that, that helps. Our vacation rental in Montana, it makes some, so that helps. We also get, now that we've transferred Metal Arc, we're going to be getting a small sum from that. So it's just a lot of little things, and then
we have a small dog business.
Right. So
we have a lot of irons in the fire.
That's right.
And I also have my home-based business, Lemongrass Spa.
Right.
It's a clean skincare company and makeup company and a hair care. And actually, we always have a link down below. Or do you?
Yep.
Yes, we do. So that you can check out the products if you want.
Yep. And all those things, none of them are stellar, but they all help, and they kind of pool together into what makes it doable. So we still have to, like anybody else, we still have to budget and to do all that. So that's where we're at. We're not that's just where it's at. Enough said, I guess. Okay. Somebody asked about the high school education. Do they want to keep going to college? Yeah, they certainly could. We talked about that. If they'd want to go into medicine or law or something like that, but our boys, they don't want to do that. They just want to get their pilot's license and go fly an airplane or something like that.
She was asking, why do they end, before high school and college? Well, that is part of our Amish heritage.
Yeah.
So we went to 8th grade. That is as far as we went, and then we just, it was kind of, we worked with our parents. We did apprentice.
Right. So I'm going to say this is actually incorrect. This is a lot of this is the public school thinking, and not to criticize you, but I just want to say this, in my opinion, this is, why does your children's education end before high school and college? So the answer is, it does not end. It simply quits book learning and goes into real life practical skills. And I want to tell you something as well, having been a business owner for many years now, that we have at currently, just before we transferred the company, we had like 50 employees. So I was actually in charge of hiring people, and for quite some time, and I know all the people that we hired, a lot of them, basically all of them, had high school education, and many of them had college education, and we loved our employees. But the point that I'm saying is, a lot of them didn't really have practical life skills. And so our boys are actually more skilled in a lot of ways because they have a wide variety of skills that they've been learning versus just a job. So I kind of get a little animated about education, just because I feel really strongly children, I think a big mistake is going through high school. They should be acquiring life skills instead of just more book learning and hanging out in public schools. That's a pretty strong statement, but that's how I feel about it. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
There has been a few of you who asked about the church that we attend. So, do you want to share about that?
Sure. So we, grew up in a community. We went to the same community. Sometimes we would visit other churches, but not a lot. So we came up here, we said, hey, let's check out a bunch of churches, see what the body of Christ looks like. For a whole year, we just went from, we're trying to find our church. Like, is there a place that God would fit us in? We're kind of trying to feel. And so we visited home churches, small churches, big churches, loud churches, quiet churches. And we loved all of it. And we loved the people. But we just never found the place where we felt like God say, that's really where we want you, until through some circumstances, we discovered this church that we go to. It's called Bridge of Hope. It's in Chuyak, Alaska, and we love it. It's it's a very Holy Spirit church.
Yeah,
there's a lot of freedom.
A lot of organic.
You'd say organic is a very good word. There's an hour of worship and
somewhat similar to our church back home. I mean, it's a lot different and yet it's similarities. Right. So that's probably what made us feel at home. And
we love the people. We just really, within 15 minutes of being in that church, we both looked at each other and we're like, I think we found our home.
Yeah.
And we have just made really, really good friends with the people there, and we love the pastors, and it's been really great. They're normal people. They're messed up, normal people like everyone else, but God's presence is there, and that's why we love to go there. So, that's what we do. Hello from Florida. Have you thought about writing a daily devotional? Oh, have we thought about writing one? We have thought about that. We've thought about doing podcasts. There's so many things we thought about because we're entrepreneurs, but we don't have that right now. We did want to recommend a few. Why don't you tell them what we're going through?
Yes, this one, Reckless Devotion by Heidi Baker, is a really good one. I just loved it, and he's going through it now.
I really, really like it.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend this. You can find it on Amazon. Do you want to?
Yeah, this one here, we talked about this some time ago, Dutch Sheets. Give Him 15, an Appeal to Heaven Devotional, Volume 1. And I'll link both of these in the video. Really like Dutch Sheets as well, so I can't recommend those highly enough.
Yes. So will you continue breeding dogs?
Well, that is one of the things that we've done for a lot of years. We're just a small breeder, and a lot of our dogs are in guarding homes, so they're not even at Montana Haven. But it does take a lot of time. It's a very intense to prepare a puppy and to get it ready and to do all the flights, and it's very, very involved. It's so time consuming that it's barely worth it for us. And so that's something that we may slow down or discontinue with time. By the way, I did want to say this. If you are within like 2 hours of Libby, Montana, and you're watching this and you've ever thought you'd like to have either a Labradoodle or a Schipperke, just go to send us a message. You can either just go send us a message on either MontanaHavenLabradoodles.com or on one of the Montana Haven Facebook or Instagram, and let us know, and we would see if it might work. A guarding home family, basically, we give you the dog. It's at no charge. The dog is yours, and then we have the breeding rights to the dog. After a certain amount of litters, we pay to spay or neuter the dog, and then it's yours to keep forever. So it's a very good program. The dogs are in people's homes, and it's basically, like I said, it's your dog. So it comes to stay with us periodically, every so often, for a few times. So if you're, like I said, if you're interested, send me an email. We do have a couple dogs that we do have available that would make great pets or family members for you. I'll ask you this, Priscilla. How do you stay in such good shape after having so many children? Would you be willing to do what I eat in a day, or do you have any tips and advice? Are there certain foods that you avoid? Do you have an exercise routine?
You shouldn't have asked that. Because right now I'm not doing so good. I used to be so active. I, did exercise weekly, daily, and I have not been doing so good on that. So, and as far as food, I just try to cook relatively healthy all the time.
You don't cook with white flour, white sugar, MSG,
right?
All those things.
I think just making little differences will be life-changing in the long run. So just little differences. I don't go all out, and we don't go all organic.
Yeah. It would be too expensive for. Yep.
But yes, I would love to get more disciplined with exercise. In the summertime, it's not hard because we go hiking so much, but in the wintertime, it's harder. Hi, I would love to know, will you guys be able to be hired to build houses in the future?
Yes. So right now, Michael, which is technically my cousin, married to her sister, so that makes her sister my sister-in-law and he's like my brother-in-law and cousin both, but Michael and Emily and their family live here as well with us. They moved up with us, and Michael works with Justin and Ethan, and they build houses. They do, and obviously we all work together, but now they're not working. So the answer is yes. They're still doing construction work out right now, even though it's like 10 degrees outside. They're still working all winter long. Mm-hmm. So the answer is yes. If you want us to, I see you're from Alaska, or it says Alaska at heart, Alaska my heart. Just send us a message on Instagram or Facebook, and we can get in touch with you about that.
How do you stay so joyful? As a believer, I want to be, but I see the world falling apart and it makes me sad. Do you follow the news or politics? The end times. Thanks so much.
How do we stay joyful?
Well, I think it's a process for us too.
Right.
Sometimes we talk about it like
drink coffee and take vitamin D. That's two good things to do.
No, but I think one thing, we don't follow the news a lot. We don't follow politics a lot, and we know enough of what's going on. And he follows some things that are going on in Israel and all that because we love Israel.
Right.
But I think what helps is to not focus on the things that are going bad, even though we know they are.
Right.
We focus on the one who takes care of everything and who is our savior. So, yeah.
Right. Priscilla, I want to know how you stay so slender, eat the gorgeous foods I see you eat on videos. I wonder if you fast often, or if, when off camera, you don't eat much or differently. You look amazing.
I kind of answered that question, but one thing I didn't say was that I usually eat a big breakfast. Like, I eat a big breakfast, and then I'm seriously not really hungry the rest of the day, so I usually don't eat until dinner time, and then I have a big dinner. And if I get hungry, I'll eat a snack, like an apple or a piece of cheese or something like that, or nuts in between. So I guess the one thing is I'm not really a snacker. I'll just eat a nice big meal and I'm good.
And both of you and I both don't eat really lunch. We just eat, Priscilla makes a big breakfast.
Yeah.
And then since I'm not really working, I might eat a little bit for lunch, but pretty much just in the evening.
Yep.
So they also said, do your children ever sass you in Joas AK? Do they always just do what you ask whenever you ask without refusing? No. But they don't talk back much. But sometimes they're like, do I have to or whatever.
Yeah.
But they don't they don't talk back much, which is nice.
Yeah.
I think we talked about the disciplining. It says, growing up in a Mennonite Amish background, spankings were the rule rather than the exception. Wondering how you guys view that. Well, I think that there's definitely a time for spankings. I think that, especially when they're little, and when they're starting to, throw their weight around. And once your child is throwing a hissy fit on the floor, definitely time to do some spanking. That will definitely train a child not to do that and to bend their will into a good direction. But very rarely do our children get spanked because they listen, obey well enough that we have their hearts, and it's not, spanking to me is reserved for something like very bad, like that's like the worst case scenario. But I'm all for that if needed, but I'm be very cautious. It's up to each parent to decide that.
And we're not talking about abuse, so
No.
don't twist our words. We're just talking about a good sound spanking.
Right. Yep. One question is, your boys go through 8th grade, what about your girls? Yes, the same. And of course, Avalon, if she'd want to do continued education, it's totally up to them. We're not keeping them from that. We just think life skills are as important or more important than just continued education unless they want to study to become something, a doctor, medical, or whatever. Yep.
After all the comments you've received, do you think Joas will ever become a vegetarian?
Not happening. Meat, and another word, meat. I'm a meat connoisseur.
Sarah, I love you. Yeah, nope, you could not get him to be a vegetarian. He loves his meat.
And then we covered one other question. What are you both currently using for your personal devotional times? We talked about that.
Yeah.
What does your family worship look like?
So, evenings before we go to bed, we pray together and we usually sing a song together. And yeah, that's kind of our family.
And in the
devotion
mornings,
time.
we always pray together in the mornings as well. Yeah. What religion are you? You're such good people. So I'm going to say that religion, the word religion means man-made. So I know what you're asking, of course, but we're just Christians. We love Jesus. And
Jesus followers.
Yep, relationship is what we're after. Jesus came for relationship, not create a religion. So I'm totally against religion, by the way. If in case you're religious, I'm sorry. But I'm here for relationship with Jesus and not religion. That's man-made.
What did the doctor say about the clicking sound in your foot?
Yeah, so I mentioned that when I was walking, there was this clicking sound. I did ask him that, and I responded to a few of you, but he basically said it shouldn't be anything to be worried about. It's just a tendon scraping over the titanium plate they put in my foot, which is not fun, but that's just what it is.
So Lori asks, have you ever thought about doing a live video?
We have talked about doing a live video. The issue, I think we actually could do it now, but our internet has been so poor since we were here in Alaska. It was even worse almost in Montana, but here in Alaska, we have Starlink, which is finally working well enough that most of the time it's working, and I think we could do it live, and I'd like to sometime just for the fun of it.
We were wondering if you allow the children, electronics or watch YouTube videos or be on any other social media platform.
So we don't have a smart TV. We just have a dumb TV. And it was hard to find a dumb TV, and hard it was. We could hardly find one. But so we do watch, like sometimes we like to watch The Last Alaskans. That's a show about Alaska. We've done that. And yeah, sometimes we watch YouTube videos together. The kids don't have Facebook or Instagram. And we try to monitor it. We try not to make it a thing where it's like, oh, you can't, always looking over their shoulder. On the other hand, we don't just freely give it to them either. So we just try to kind of monitor it. And I mean, it's getting, it's at that stage where the boys are 17, and we didn't have, the way I look at it is we didn't have phones. We didn't have social media. So it's not necessary. It's not mandatory. So, but on the other hand, it's not wrong, but we just also don't want to give them access to things that are unhealthy or can be unhealthy. So as long as they don't need it, we just try to monitor that.
Yeah. So we're just kind of trying to skip through these pretty fast because it's really long.
Right.
Are you pre-tribulation or post?
It's tribulation. Yeah, so I think the important thing is that Jesus is coming back. So I'm not going to personally say I'm post, pre, mid, or some other, rapture, just because everybody's different views on that. I feel a certain way about that, but I'm not, Anyways, I think it's important to recognize that Jesus is coming back and that we need to be ready.
Yeah.
That's what we encourage everybody.
Yeah.
It's just it can be a little bit of a doctrinal issue, so I don't like to get into that as much.
Okay, what type of product did you apply to your log cabin wood outside and inside? Was it an oil varnish stain? And the name of the product, please.
Okay, so yes, all of the above. The inside, we use a product from Timber Pro, and on the outside, we also use a product from Timber Pro. The inside is called Crystal Urethane. It's a clear varnish, water-based. The outside is also water-based, and it's also clear that we put on here. You can actually get color and you can tint it, but because we burned the outside of our logs with a torch, lightly sanded it, and then we put 3 coats of clear on. That's what we do on the outside. The inside, we just sanded and then varnished the crystal urethane on the inside. And then also the chinking product that we use in between the logs, that's a Sashco product. That's Sashco Conceal, for those of you that want to know.
Did you have insurance for hospital bills, doctors, etc.?
I tell you what I'll do is I will make a link to, we're part of Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's not an insurance, it's a cost sharing program. And we had their highest deductible. So with that deductible, we had to pay, a pretty good chunk, as well as it didn't cover any doctor visits or physical therapy or any of that. It was just the surgery and the emergency room visit, basically. So we were left with a bit, but we had, so most of it's covered,
Yes.
thankfully. So we're very grateful for everything that got covered. Of course, I wish I had been on a lower deductible, but it's what it is, and we had never used it before, never needed it. We've been on it for years, but I'll put a link. I think it's a very good cost-sharing, Christian healthcare cost-sharing program. So if you guys want, I'll put a link in the description box for that, and you guys can click on that. I think it's probably lower than about anything you're going to find out there. So, and they're easy to work with, so I would recommend them.
Just curious about taking the complete tissue and bone supplement. Do you always take it an hour before or after eating?
Well, I take a lot of things, and I think very soon, actually, I think Tuesday, January 30th, I believe I'm going to come out with a video talking about, that's what I'm shooting for, talking about everything that I've used to get healed up. But just to answer this particular question, I take it all the time, all day long. I take it in the morning, I take it towards noon, I take it in the afternoon. I take like 14 or more a day, so I take a lot, and it's a whole food. You can take as much as you want, so I think the more you take, the better off you are. So I can take it on an empty stomach. It doesn't bother me as far as making me feel upset stomach. Will the screws in my heels ever be taken out?
Nope, I don't think so.
Screws and plates are going to stay in there, I believe. Are you continuing to teach the kids this German or Swiss language that you grew up speaking?
Yep, that's just what we speak at home. I noticed the snow on the roof of your home is beautiful but deep. Is there a point that you have to scoop it off?
Nope, this thing is built like a tank. This thing will hold. Now, if I got 20 feet, I probably would consider.
He's proud of his home.
Yep. Nope, it's good. Let her pile up. It looks really nice. Don't need to shovel.
Yeah, he built a sturdy home. That's for sure.
Okay, I have 2 questions. How do you do it all? You run a business, keep a nearly perfect home with home-cooked meals, you hunt and fish, you homeschool, you keep up with 2 YouTube channels, etc., etc. It seems like there's nothing you 2 can't do. Well, sometimes it can get overwhelming, I'll be honest with you. And if we just had like a large, steady income, I would probably cut out 10 things, but because we don't have that, we just do whatever it takes. And so that's why we kind of have a lot of things going on. So I would prefer to do less. I would love to do less. But that's just kind of where we're at. We've kind of made it work.
Yeah, and we have so many ideas.
Right.
So,
we keep adding ideas as we pull other ones out.
Yeah, we got to tell each other, no, we got to pull this idea out. We can't do that. We shouldn't do that.
We're probably a little too entrepreneurial minded. Just like the cookbook thing, right? That's another thing to put on our plate, but we'd love to do it. Be fun and Okay, what are the favorite things about each other that you love? I'm going to quickly say it. I love everything about her. Almost everything. Some things I'm still working on trying to love, but she can say the same thing about me.
Definitely. Yeah. We're not perfect. We're so imperfect, but that's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
There's times that we don't love things about each other, but we're in for the long haul, so whatever it takes to get through it.
Well, I can say my favorite thing about him is his patience and his willingness to help me. Like, I am not a computer geek. They frustrate me. Sorry, this is an alarm of something to remind me to take something. But yeah, I get frustrated with that, but he is so good with that. Often he'll just end up doing it for me. So I really am grateful for that he's so good with online stuff and just helping me, and is patient with me and the children.
I think the biggest thing that I love about you is that you're just my best friend.
Yeah, that's what we've been discussing lately, is just how wonderful it is to actually have a best friend. I mean, you can be lovers and you can be, married, but actually being a best friend is...
Actually, I think you have to work at that a little bit too. You actually have to be very intentional about wanting to be a best friend, because it's always your faults, your partner's faults are glaring at you constantly. So you can choose to focus on that, and sometimes we do, but then we got to come back and say, no, we actually have to be, what's the word? There's a word. Strategic is not the right word, but intentional.
Yes.
About seeing each other's good things and loving those and choosing to want to be the best friend.
Yeah, the closer you are to each other, the more you hurt each other in a way, because you know each other so well. And just, him having his accident and being home all the time, it was a big change, and just getting to know how to navigate. And that's why we were talking about friendship, and what best friends are. And so it's just been good. It's been really good.
It's been good. What age were you married?
I was 21.
And I had just turned 24.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Janice says, Priscilla, I love your cooking and food ideas, but need help on sourdough use. Like when to feed, when to use, and how to use. So a recipe book would be wonderful. So where can she find more about where you talked about sourdough?
I have a video on how I started my sourdough starter, but this might actually not be quite her question. Or how to feed, yes, that would be in that video. We can link it below.
Right.
But sourdough is so versatile. You can use it so many ways. I mean, I make pizza, I make all different kinds of breads and cakes and cinnamon rolls. What else? Pancakes. So I almost always have it out on the counter, and I just feed it daily. Sometimes I feed it twice daily, but I just feed it a little bit. Like I just put a little bit of flour in, and I just keep a low amount, and by evening maybe I feed it again. And if I know I'm going to make a lot of bread or something, then I feed it extra so that I know I have enough for my bread. So that's just what I do. It's been very simple and easy for me. And if I know that I'm going to be gone and can't use it, I put it in the fridge. And then you just kind of have to restart it maybe for a day or two. Set it out on the counter after you get back.
And one thing that you've done, one time you used like regular city water and it just killed it. When we were in a rental. So you cannot use like chlorinated water.
I would not use chlorinated water, yes.
Right.
You want to use tap water or distilled water.
Yep. And I think that's pretty much all the questions we've answered. Almost 90% of them. We skimmed through a few because a lot of them were kind of similar.
Yes, we might not have answered quite everything.
But we tried to do our best to answer as many as we could. Let's talk a little bit about three things actually yet real quick. One is we did make a calendar, and I'll link below in the description box. So if you guys want a calendar, it's about Alaska and of our family, a 2024 calendar. There's 3 different sizes I think you can choose from. So Justin actually put that all together, and he did a really nice job. So if you guys want that, just click on the link and it'll take you to where you guys can purchase one.
Yeah, we make one for us anyways because we want one. So
right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these books real quick.
Yes. So we've talked about this before, a couple times before, but this is my Uncle Simon, and he wrote a book about leaving the Amish, and he loves this country, and I really love my Uncle Simon. He's one neat character. And I would definitely recommend you reading this book.
There you go. And I'll put a link in there. There's always a lot of links, so you just check out.
And this, I'm sure you've seen before if you've been with us. This is my youngest brother, Marcus's book that he wrote. I'm really proud of him. Actually, my sister Mary, they have a YouTube channel called Mullet Family Montana. Mullet is their last name. And they just did an interview with Marcus about this book, and it is called Heart of the Mountain, A Warrior's Way, Book 1. And it is big writing, and Wyatt has read this book twice already. He is 10. And it's an allegory. Right. Like it's
kind of like Pilgrim's Progress.
Yeah, it's really good. And he's coming out with another book, but I think it might not be until this fall, like September, but he is almost finished with the sequel to this one. So
and he's gonna have, I think, like maybe more than 2 even.
He has a 3rd book in his head already that he's going to be writing. So
crazy guy. But what I also want to say, it's on Audible. So guys, check it out if you guys want to go there. Heart of the Mountain on Audible. You can get it there.
Yes, and we can also link it down below.
Right, very true.
And I think that is
pretty much does it. Hopefully we didn't miss anything. And
it's been a while, and it's
That's
almost
right.
dinner time, but I have a bear roast back
Ooh,
there with
yummy.
a lot of vegetables for dinner.
Nice. All right, you guys.
Yes,
Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Love you. Guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, Lord bless each and every one of you. And thanks for watching, subscribing, liking, and sharing this video.